This display shows a map of Collinsville and Scottville. On the right is a panel with the diagram of some of the underground mines in the area. If you slide the panel across the top of the town, you can see where these mines were located underneath the town. Ironically, the men who were killed in the 1954 disaster were actually working underneath the Collinsville cemetery. Another feature you can see on the map of the mines is the difference between the hand-mined and machine-mined tunnels. The machine mining era began in November 1953, when mechanisation was introduced in Collinsville. When the state government announced its plans to mechanise the Collinsville State Mine, they were met with a mixture of enthusiasm and concern. The primary objective of the union was to ensure that mine workers would not be put off and would not suffer any adverse effects from the change. There were also concerns about where to first install the new machines, in the number 1 or the number 2 tunnels, each with differing grades and distances for belting. By November 1953, the number 1 tunnel was chosen for mechanisation. For the first year, there were problems with the suitability of the equipment. The Jeffrey loaders could load 10 tonnes per minute, but the pan conveyors, on which they were loaded, could only handle 2 to 3 tonnes per minute, resulting in a lot of spilt coal. The grades were also too steep for the machines. At 1 in 6, the oil would simply gush out of the machines. By June 1954, the mine had recorded losses of £116,000 in less than 12 months. These problems would persist until the mine's closure in 1961. The blame for the loss of the profits would be shifted from the mines department to the mine manager and even the miners themselves before the closure. Ultimately, however, it was the people of Collinsville who suffered the most from the loss of the state mine. Following the Brisbane convoy in 1961 and constant pressure from miners and unions statewide, the Collinsville State Mine was sold to Davis contractors. By June 1962, after several disputes with unions, the new mine owners employed 22 miners to begin preparing the renamed Dacon mine for production. In the lower part of the panel, you see diagrams showing how coal has been mined in Collinsville and Scottville. In the bottom part of this display, you'll see the coal seam outcropping on the surface. In most of the underground pits in Collinsville, the coal seam outcropped on the surface, and the easiest way to start the mine was to follow the coal seam from the top down to the bottom, right to the boundary. As the miners worked down, they formed these pillars of coal. The layout there shows 5 headings, though in Collinsville the usual way of mining was 7 headings. As the mine deepened, pillars of coal were formed, a method called board and pillar mining. When the miners reached the bottom, or the boundary, they would retreat back up the tunnels, extracting as much coal as possible from the pillars. Pillar extraction is often expressed as the hairiest part of underground mining. As the coal was extracted from the pillars, the roof of the tunnel would fall in behind. The hardest part was judging how to ensure the roof would fall at the right moment. Older miners today will tell you of the constant creaking and groaning of the earth underground and the thunder created by a falling roof. In the pitch black, it was a horrifying feeling. Today, the main method of underground mining is the long wall method, much safer and more efficient. In the old days, however, there was no other option, and many workers could not handle the terrifying thought of the earth crashing below, around and above them.